Hello, 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 my friends. Welcome back to another episode of The Random Show starring your host, Agostino Zinga. This is The Random Show, episode number 273. It should be 273. If it's not 273, no, I apologize, but it should be random episode number 273. We are smashing through the 270s, on our way to 280, soon to be 300. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so bloody much. To begin, this particular show on this particular occasion will be about 2 hours long. What I plan to do is this for about 2 hours. Run to the gym, have a good little pump, come back, do the Rogan update on the Patreon, then do another 2 hours later on down the line, okay? So it's going to be split into kind of two, kind of. So it's going to be about 2 hours for this random show. Then I'm going to upload the Patreon episode I need to upload of it. Joe Rogan's Funny. And then we're going to do another random show to end the day and make it nice and round. Nice bit of content out there and react to the things that we need to react to. But first of all, how are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? Let me know in the stream chat. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Hope you guys are all good. Big up everybody in the stream chat hanging in there. Big up Young Old Vibes, my G. What's going on? Big up Wingus McDingus, my guy. What's good? On Andrew Taint, good to see you, brother. NJ Ranger, as per usual. What's happening, bruh? Hope you're good. Yeah, Don Dotter, I see you. Honky Tonk, Tennessee, I see you. Big up everybody. Stephen Castaneda in the fucking house coming through. Wagwan, the most important person here. Big up Stephen Castaneda. Wagwan to my nigga Stephen Castaneda. Hope you're doing well, my brother. And hope everybody else that's here is doing well also. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate every single one of you. And I don't take your viewership for granted. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So like I said, we're going to be about 2 hours in. We're not going to rush too much. We're just going to get through what we need to get through. And then I'm going to do another half of the show later on today. So be prepared. Loads of good content out there. At the moment, the Patreon is jumping. Happy about the Patreon. The Patreon numbers are looking good. People are joining. I think the $1 tier is about to finish soon. So if you want to jump on the Patreon, jump on it now. Patreon.com/Agostino. There's a little $1 tier there. That's already running out at the moment, which is pretty sick. Which means I've got a pretty hefty numbers of $1 people on there, which is a quite nice endorsement, because even if it's 99 cents, 50 cents, the fact that you are exchanging some of your flipping shekels to watch some of my content is absolutely crazy. So the fact that people are doing it, I appreciate you. More content's coming up on there soon, so please make sure you tune in to the Patreon, which is the link is available. I'll put another episode on there. I appreciate all of you. Big up who I see there. Kevin Connell. What's good, Kevin? Hope you're good, my friend. Hope you're good. Hope you are good. Oh yeah, Purple Pidge. I'm not too sure if you've seen this, my guy, but I have slight OCD with numbers. I need it to be a nice round even number. So the plan is now, once we hit 280, 281, new random show channel. But now I can't it just feels odd to go into 270 onto every channel. So I'm going to do it until 280, and then 281 will be on the random show channel. So big up, who's it there on the channel? Big up Purple Pidge for saying that, because I said before, all my random show was going to be on the random show channel, but I'm going to split it when it gets to 281. So at 281, that episode will be on the random show channel. The link you'll find that on my YouTube channel. So click on YouTube channel, you'll find it there. But I have some weird thing with numbers. I'm even the same with gym. Not sure if you guys are the same way. When it comes to the gym, I can't go out, I can only go at like half past or on the hour. You know? So if it's like, if I'm at my house and it's like, I don't know, 5:25, and I'm not going to get there until 5:35, I'll just wait until it's like 6. Or until 10 minutes before 6 and then go. I have to always go on the half an hour or on the hour, because I want to like time my workouts that way easy. I don't like to go down 15 past, half 5 past, all that shit. I'm all over. So I'm a bit weird at that sort of stuff. So I need a nice round number. So 281 will do that. So big up everybody. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. Let's flipping go. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump right into it. So first things to jump into that I want to talk about. You've all seen Joe Rogan's stand-up special, right? You've all seen Joe Rogan's amazing Burn the Boat stand-up special. Quite possibly one of the best stand-up specials that's ever been released in the history of stand-up. and I'm standing by that. I think it's the best thing ever. I think Joe Rogan's the greatest stand-up that ever have lived in the face of the earth, and I feel like people are discounting some of the great things he's done in stand-up comedy in general, and I love Rogan. But I wanted to see what some of his friends, what some of his colleagues had to say about this stand-up special, because I think a lot of them are capping, and I think a lot of them are not telling the truth about what they actually feel like about the special, because they're afraid. But I feel like if you're a comedian, you should be able to say what you feel, say what you like, say what you don't like, which is kind of the reason why, and I've got a very controversial opinion about this, this is kind of the reason why I don't really agree with other stand-up comedians shitting on people like Rogan, shitting on people like Brendan. I don't like it. I know it's funny for the Reddit, I know it's funny for us to laugh at and stuff, but I think it's kind of poor form when fellow comedians will shit on Brendan, especially now that he's out of the good graces of Rogan. I feel like if you were a fellow comedian and you were shitting on Brendan when he was still within the inner circle of Rogan, I'll give you props. But if you're shitting on him now and laughing at him now, he's the easy target. He's an easy whipping boy because he's not within that hallowed, protected field of Rogan anymore. Rogan lives in Texas. It all kind of moved and changed. But I feel like if you're in a business of stand-up, you also have professional courtesy not to insult your fellow colleague. But I feel like if you insult Brendan, you have to also take the piss out of Rogan and his stand-up. But they don't do that. They pick and choose. It's easy to take the piss out of Brendan because he's terrible, but no one wants to take the piss out of Rogan because Rogan's Rogan, and you want to get on his show, you want him to change your life, you want him to be your daddy, all this sort of shit. I get it. But there was a very interesting and very telling review, not review, from the one and only Joey Diaz on his podcast, The Check-In with Lee Sayat, which kind of told you everything you needed to know about how fellow comedians rate or don't rate the special. This tells you everything, because with what Joey Diaz didn't say, he said more. Yeah, he said more by what he didn't say than what he actually said. This is Joey Diaz with his review of Joe Rogan's Burn the Boat special. It's fucking hilarious. Listen to Joey Diaz try to be nice about it.
So that's where I'm at, and I'm having a great time doing it. But I want to talk about something. I don't know if you watched it. I want to talk to you about the Rogan special, because I know a lot of people. I've already gotten like fucking 50 things of what I thought. You know,
I don't know if you watched it. Look, he's already not looking forward to it. I don't know if you watched it. I don't know if you heard about this guy called Joe Rogan. He's like this small rinky-dink up-and-coming comedian. You know, he's just started his podcast. He's only a few thousand episodes in. He's not that well known, you know. I don't know if you heard about this guy.
you haven't had a chance to watch it.
Not yet, but I'm excited.
Okay. Lisa hasn't watched it. That's cap.
I tried watching it.
Saturday
Night Live.
Okay.
When it came on.
You tried?
But all the girls came up to the room at like 10:15.
All the kids came up in the room. The
fucking
kids.
speakers and shit.
The kids.
I had all these kids in the room.
The
my
kids.
wife, their parents.
Oh, no. My kids.
So
I forgot they exist.
And I was upset, but I got to watch it last night.
Okay.
The whole hour, relax,
okay.
The whole thing.
So he had to have
I love the theater.
Hold on. So he had to have a specific environment. Joey Diaz, the master of stand-up comedian, one of the last people that was actually passed by Mitzi Shore, I think, back in the day of the Comedy Store. One of the hallowed 1,000, aka 250 stand-up comedians out there worth bothering about. The Navy SEAL stand-up comedian, the best of the best, has to have the perfect environment to judge stand-up. Remember before when these guys were like, you can tell if somebody is funny just of what they say about this, how they talk, how they carry themselves, blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to Rogan and his special, they're all walking on eggshells, and it has to be, you know, they have to light the right scented candle, they have to use the right hand wash, they have to have their favorite glass of juice, they have to have their favorite beer, smoke a little joint, have a little edible, kids have to be asleep or comatose. Like, they have to be all these perfect things to make sure that they viewed it in the best possible way possible, when everybody else just gets a flippant review. Interesting.
I think Joe did a great job.
Okay, Joe did a great job.
The best special I ever saw. I don't know, but
oh, you don't want that, right? Did you watch my stand-up special? What do you think of it? I think you did a great job. You don't want anyone to say that to you. Anything creatively, anything artistic, anything to do with entertainment, you don't want anyone to ever tell you as a review, you did a really good job. You should be proud of yourself. You don't want that. You want them to say, oh my God, that's amazing. It's even better when someone says, you know what? I'm not normally into this sort of stuff, but you killed it. You want them to actually comment on the stuff that you did, not to give you these vague, generic platitudes about, oh, you did a really good job. I can tell you worked really hard. You put a lot of effort into that. Oh, Joey Diaz.
But it was a good special. He made me laugh a couple times.
A couple times in 1 hour and 5 minutes or whatever the runtime is. A couple times in a 1 hour stand-up special. To be fair to Rogan too, it's 1 hour and 5 minutes, but he does go straight into the comedy. He doesn't waste time doing crowd work or fucking around. So it's basically an hour, 60 minutes of stand-up comedy, and he made you laugh twice. Now, don't get me wrong. Joey Diaz is also echoing my thoughts. Check out my review, my play-for-play, blow-by-blow on the Patreon. Actually, I might need to edit down some of my response, some of my reactions, and just put them into a compilation, edit, upload it onto YouTube. But if you see my reaction to it, towards the end, I think I did say I laughed twice. My favorite joke in the special was the one him talking about how lesbians who think a strap-on is a real penis is like someone who thinks a lighter is like them being a dragon. And I think I laughed at something else towards the end. There were two jokes in there that I legitimately laughed at, but I don't think I even laughed at it during the reaction. I just laughed in my head. I was like, oh, that's a funny joke. Which obviously isn't the best endorsement of comedy because they're meant to make you like, ha ha hee hee. Your bellies are meant to be fucking aching and shit. You're meant to be crying. You're meant to be convulsing. You're meant to be heaving and hissing and wheezing like a pig like Bert Kreischer did. But Joey Diaz, the professional stand-up comedian, said he only laughed twice. Woo!
I could see the work, and I know the work it takes.
I
to
could
do
see
a
the
special.
work. Oh no!
I enjoyed it. I didn't see anything negative Sunday, but today I started reading the negatives. You know?
Okay, so he enjoyed it. For him, it was okay. For him, it was good. Two good jokes, and then he went immediately into reading the bad reviews. These guys are just as bad as us, huh? Because if it was me, and I'm Rogan's friend, people know this about me. When it comes to nut guzzling, when it comes to cock smooshing, when it comes to anus licking, if I like somebody, I'm going to ride hard for you. I'm going to be on my knees and elbows for you. I'm ride or die. There's some people on my list. You know who they are. Demna, the designer of Balenciaga. Rick Owens. Hiroshi Fujiwara, the godfather of streetwear. Nigo. James Jebbia, the founder of fucking Supreme. Drake. There are certain people, you just can't talk bad about them around me. Now, these people have not done anything to me personally. I don't know them. They haven't given me a career. They haven't given me a house. They haven't put my kids through private school. They haven't taken me on tour. They haven't allowed me to buy a second house in Miami and shit. They haven't done all the stuff that Rogan's done for these people. But I just love the work that they've done and how they've contributed to my life. And you cannot say a bad word about them to me. But some of these comedians, everything that Rogan said about them, they still sit here and say, I read the bad reviews. If it was me, I would be riding hard, 10 toes down on that Burn the Boat special. Chatting the most shit. Best special ever. Better than fucking Eddie Murphy. Better than Chappelle. Better than everybody. Like, just going hard. Better than Louis C.K. I'll just be on it hardcore because that's my guy. But these comedians are so flippy floppy. They're so flippy floppy that even someone like Rogan that legitimately changed all their lives are not doing it to. Yo, big up NJ Ranger. Appreciate it, bro.
Joey Caca Diaz was too busy with Sammy Trips,
exactly.
putting a hit out on the great Michael D. Redbar. Good to see you back in action though, big homie.
Yeah, exactly. Sammy Trips. Why does that sound like a legit? You know what I saw the other day? Oh, big NJ Ranger. Great minds think alike. I saw this like video of like The Sopranos. I think it might be like a documentary thing that they filmed ages ago when Joey Diaz was a bit fatter back in the day. And I was like, how the fuck did Joey Diaz get himself into the Sopranos thing anyway? Isn't he Cuban? What is this like? That's the only thing I understand why he liked the show. I understand maybe the show kind of reflected a little bit of his upbringing and where he lived. But the fact that he kind of cosplayed as like an Italian guy and kind of liked the confusion and didn't really clarify that he was Cuban and not Italian and not Sicilian and shit. It was really weird. It was like he did really well. Like he was a really hardcore Sopranos fan, and he got himself on the show and made himself a part of the lore and shit. But it's kind of weird. It's like, bruh, you speak Spanish. You don't even speak Italian, you know? And the Spanish you do speak is like pidgin dialect street, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I love Joey Diaz sometimes, but you know, that's a little bit shameless. But yeah, big up NJ Ranger. Let's continue.
I'm like, wow. And, you know, you're not going to make everybody happy. Not anymore. Not with the internet. You're not going to make everybody happy.
But you know what's funny about the response to Joe Rogan's special? You know what's funny about it? In my opinion, from reading the reviews that we've read on the fucking stream, in my previous live stream, remember, check it out. I think it's Small Man Syndrome Part 2. From the reviews that I've read, and you guys can actually agree with me, I don't think a lot of the people criticizing the special are even like outraged. It's not like the cancel culture thing. It's not like the woke people going crazy about the things that he said. No, it's just people actually questioning whether or not he's actually funny, questioning the merit of his stand-up, questioning why he has such a big audience when it comes to stand-up anyway, legitimately questioning the jokes. That's what I've seen. I've seen more people just trying to dissect the jokes, like, why is this funny? Why does this seem like humor to Rogan? Why is he this big? I don't get it. Like, that's the kind of thing that I'm seeing. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. This guy's fucking terrible. Which must hurt more, because it's easy to hide behind, oh, they're trying to cancel me. I can't say what I want. Freedom of speech is not a freedom of speech unless you let people that you don't agree with say the things that you don't, whatever. No, it's just people saying your special stinks. And that must hurt way more than people actually saying, we don't like you because you took the piss out of this community, these people, da 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 da.
And that's just the way the world is today. You know.
And what is Heather? They're mad at him for some of his jokes.
No, I don't. I didn't. I listen. I was home for maybe an hour. I left at 9:30 this morning.
I didn't see nothing. Joey Diaz knows that live. Joey Diaz knows that live. Like, shh. I didn't say nothing. I didn't see nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't know. I liked it. 2 good jokes. Rogan's my guy.
I came back here at 1 because Ari was going to meet me. So I wanted to run every errand I could, do a podcast. I had to do a ton of shit today. And I got back. I didn't see him. When Ari was here, he was checking his messages. And I started looking at the computer, and I asked him, I go, look at this shit. All of a sudden, there was nothing. And it was just a thing on Twitter that was, and then it disappeared.
Oh, weird.
It really didn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly, King Bayo. I think I don't get it hurt so much as a comedian, especially these guys. Because with the Rogan thing, I didn't know it had been so long since just a special. I think it had been like 5 or 6 years since the last one. I didn't know it had been that long. But I guess because of COVID and him setting up the comedy club, it just made it a little bit more of a space in between. I think he could have easily recorded this ages ago, probably whilst he was opening the mothership. I was actually surprised he didn't do his special at the mothership anyway, just to kind of promote it, fuck it, you know, as a thing. I think he let Brian Simpson be the first person to record one there, but I was surprised he didn't record his one there. But maybe he wanted to do the whole theater thing and have it be a bit more worth his while money-wise, I don't know. But either way, that's gonna hurt way more. It's your first special in 5 to 6 years. You come back, you try and go the whole like cancel culture type of thing. I can't say what I want, pronouns, LGBTQ, blah, blah, blah sort of thing. You try to do that whole boomer humor. People just miss it and don't even give a fuck about being offended. And you just say, you're not funny. That's gotta fucking hurt. Especially when they rewrite your jokes, like kind of out of context, and basically make them sound even more unfunny. When they put them in quotes, it's like, why are people laughing at this? You're not funny. It's like, ouch.
Matter. But I think he did a good job.
I saw him do his hour at the mothership. It was great.
The enthusiasm.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm between both of these guys. I get it, they're probably both high and shit, but still, the lack of enthusiasm. I saw him do the set at the mothership. It was great. The silences. Jesus Christ, man. Where's the fanfare? Where's the hype? Where's the love? Come on. And this is the thing that I have to say. If I'm Rogan, I'll be a little bit annoyed about it. Even though I don't think he's funny, and I think a lot of his fame has come because of the podcast, not because he's actually good at stand-up, which is not a bad thing. I'm trying to do that myself. I'm trying to use the fame and whatever little notoriety I'll get from the podcasting and those views, and I'm gonna fucking segue that into the DJing. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna use this fucking attention and fame into the DJing and fucking be on EDC stages playing fucking bullshit because people like people view my stuff and want to see me on other platforms. It's the name of the game. It's no problem with that whatsoever. But if I'm Rogan, I'm a little bit pissed because I've got the biggest platform in the world, and you motherfuckers run after me. You're on my line because imagine Rogan's DMs. They must be nasty, full of male groupies and fucking hangers-on and beggars asking and begging and pleading for handouts with their hands cupped at all fucking times. He gets them on the pod. He lets them do a show. He lets them promote their shitty dates in fucking casinos. He lets them promote their fucking stand-up special, right? They get on there and bang, bang, bang. But then when they get on their podcast, they don't even run cover for him. They don't even run defense for him. They just pretend it's all good. Big up Wingus
The tone
McDingus.
of his voice is like he's delivering a eulogy.
Exactly.
Joey Diaz is guilty of non-laughter.
Exactly.
How did comedy go, Joe? Bean cheese, bean cheese,
yeah,
bean
yeah,
cheese,
yeah,
bean
yeah,
cheese.
yeah. Exactly. He's actually delivering a eulogy, and usually Rogan at least fake pretend he's interested in your special. Oh, where's it streaming? Where's it gonna be on? Blah 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 blah. He gives a little bit of hype. These guys aren't even running cover. They're not even running defense. Nah, man, I don't care. If I gave you your career, if I gave you a second house, if I put your kid through boarding school, you better lie and say everything I do is amazing. Get on your fucking podcast and tap dance for me. I don't give a fuck.
You know, I mean, if I know him, he changed up a couple things, like we all do.
Yeah.
But I saw bits of it at the mothership. I would always go out and somebody would talk to me.
I saw
and then,
bits.
Are you going up next to the other one? Yeah. So
I don't
you really
recall.
couldn't focus.
I don't recall.
I would go out there for bits and pieces.
Okay,
And I enjoyed what he was doing.
Bits and pieces.
And it seemed like it went great from what I've heard.
It seems like it went great from what I heard. These guys, man, come on. Big up
Bro,
Austin Casey.
I
Well
wouldn't have
gone.
watched Rogan's special normally, but I watched your reaction review on Patreon and you
Yeah,
had me dying.
yeah. Big up Austin Casey. Appreciate you, brother. I'm actually going to do I'm actually going to take off all of my, because I can easily do it. I think on iMovie it's easy to do. I'm pretty sure I'll figure it out. I want to take away, because every time I try and play the clips on YouTube, Netflix with the copyright and the fucking notification, they are on it, bro. They'll smash you. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clip all of my reactions to all the bits I paused and then put them in a compilation, upload them to YouTube. That should be okay. Just to send people so they can see what it looks like, because I feel like you can see my frustration throughout the fucking viewing of the special. But I'm actually going to do the worst thing possible also. I'm going to continue the series. I'm going to finish the series. I'm going to continue it. So after I come back from the gym, I'm going to watch the next special. I think the next one I have to watch is after 2001, isn't it? What's that one? Joe Rogan's other special in 2001. I think after that, let me see if I can find it, because I'm going to do react to that on my Patreon. So that'll be part 5 of this, or maybe part 6. Whatever that part is, that'll be the one coming up. So that's going to be brutal to get through. But as per usual, big up my girl Amy for the advice. Whenever that was back in the day, she told me, and it always rings in my head. If you're gonna diss, if you're gonna laugh, you have to consume. And I have to put myself through this. I have to watch this if I'm gonna diss it, if I'm gonna laugh at it, if I'm gonna point and laugh. You have to. That's what I'm gonna do. So the next one I'm gonna be doing will be Joe Rogan Live 2006. So I've already done I'm gonna be dead someday. I've done Voodoo Punani. Those are 2 CDs. I've done Live from the Belly of the Beast, and the next one I'm gonna be doing is 2006 Joe Rogan Live. Now I'm personally for me, as much as I don't like Joe Rogan's latest special, I was shilling and I was doing a little bit of tap dancing for Rogan myself. A lot of you guys called me out on it and said, no, Rogan isn't funny, bro. You are not remembering this well at all. Rogan isn't funny, and you've all been proven right. But there's a part of me that wants to prove you guys wrong. So I'm hoping within these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 specials I have to watch from Rogan. I'm hoping within the 7 left, there's gonna be a funny one. I'm hoping, please, for the love of God, please. Because if there's at least one funny special, one legitimately, and I'm gonna rate funny as this, to be fair to Rogan. I'm gonna rate funny as this. And I think this is a fair barometer. I think you guys can agree with me. If I watch one of those 7 specials left and I laugh more than 5 times, I think that's allowed to be special. That's allowed to be funny. If I laugh more than 5, that's a good. That's like an album. If an album's got 10 tracks and you like 5 of them, that's at least a 7 out of 8, a 7 out of 10 album. So I think that counts as a good special. So I'm looking for a special that can make me genuinely laugh more than 5 times. I've got 7 to go through. 7. Next one is Joe Rogan Live 2006. After that, we've got Shiny Happy Jihad 2007, which is audio CD. Then we've got Talking Monkeys in Space, which is a CD and DVD. Then we got Life on the Tabernacle 2012. Then we got Rocky Man in High 2014. Then we got Trigger 2016. Then we got Strange Time 2018. So hopefully within those group, there has to be, please God, because I wanna at least prove you guys wrong a little bit, because I feel so ashamed that I was shilling and capping for fucking Rogan so hard when it came to specials and shit, thinking it was funny, only to be proven that he wasn't. I'm sure he must have one special within his fucking discography, within his stand-up filmography. There must be at least one that's legitimately special. It has to be. It has to be. It has to be. Please, Rogan, please. Anyway, back to the thing.
What do you think about, because they've done a couple of them, like, what do you think about doing a special live? Like, that's also like a crazy aspect of it being like a one take. Like,
oh, look at these guys, man. Look at these guys. Now it's the medium. Now it's the platform. Oh, specials, recording them live. It's a totally different beast, man. Crazy, man. Like, come on, bro. These guys spent years telling us that they were elite Navy SEALs level comedians that could comedy and ha hee hee on any platform, anytime, anywhere, any moment. Boom, they could do it and make everybody laugh. And now all of a sudden, oh, it's a live thing. I don't know about that. Bro, you're live every time you kind of do a podcast. You're live every time you're on stage somewhere. You practice all the time. There is no stage fright. You do it all the time. You have millions of specials everywhere. You do crowd work stuff. You're on your fucking Instagram live. You're streaming live on platforms. You got podcasts. You do shows. You're going on tour. Come on, man. Come on. Oh, God.
Guys, it's the future now. You know, I've always said we needed to spice up comedy a little bit. And look at Ari Storytelling Show.
Mm-hmm.
Was a new realm for a long time. It became a genre for about 10 years, and I capitalized on that genre.
Yeah, you had a bunch of great stories.
Now nobody's doing it anymore.
Don't get me wrong. That's a good point he made about Ari Shaffir's Storytelling Show. I feel like we got two of the best bits. No, we got one of the best Joey Diaz bits and one of the best Brendan bits ever. Brendan's best ever bit was a bit that he told on Ari Shaffir's storytelling thing. But I think actually the lore around that is funny because I'm pretty sure Brendan did Ari Shaffir's storytelling thing on Comedy Central when Comedy Central kind of pushed Ari Shaffir out, when they were trying to kind of get him out and do it on their own. They didn't want to fuck with him too much. I think that's when he actually did it. So he didn't technically do it under Ari Shaffir's tutelage, but still, that story that Brendan told on that show, that was helped a lot by Bert. I think Bert kind of punched up that story a bit and helped him kind of construct it and make it seem, interesting at least, or entertaining to listen to. That was one of the best bits Brendan's ever done. And also Joey Diaz told a story too on there that was really good as well. Don't get me wrong, it's a great platform, great medium, great way to kind of do stand-up. But let's also be real. A lot of these guys shouldn't be doing specials. Now that I've watched Rogan's special, I now understand why Bobby Lee doesn't do stand-up specials. Because I think Bobby Lee realizes that his type of stand-up only works in person. It works when you're there in front of him, the physicality of it, the goofiness of it, and the fact that he repeats his jokes. Allegedly, he's been doing the same jokes for like 40 plus years and shit. You probably don't need to put that on a special, especially considering his sense of humor. You probably would fall flat. It would be very badly received. Everyone would fucking rip you a new one. So leave it. The special doesn't work for you. But I think in general, probably less frequency of special, because there was a time where a lot of these guys, that's where the whole like maybe sets and reps thing came in, right? They'd get on stage, they'd pop up in certain clubs and do material and do as many as possible in a night to try and tighten up their material. But I also felt like they were approaching the same thing when it comes to specials. They were trying to do that kind of like Louis C.K. every year, Dave Chappelle every year. Specials like, bruh, not all of you guys are built that way. Not all of you guys have that much, that much of a special in you to release every year. Some of you guys don't have much to say, especially the ones that have podcasts. Like, you speak probably too much. You probably give away some of your best material off the cuff without realizing. So maybe call the brakes on the fucking specials and maybe put them out a little bit more with a more delay. Maybe every 5 years might be a good thing. Let people kind of miss you and then kind of go from there. But the every year or the every other year thing was probably a little bit too much for these guys. They don't have the comedy chops to actually do that. I don't think so. But again, I could be wrong.
So now we're looking for other avenues to draw people into stand-up. Entertainment's changing. I don't know if there's going to be
changing.
3-man shows.
It's entertainment's
in 2
fault.
years. I don't know what it's going to be.
Interesting. You think it could change that much?
I think a lot of things could happen, Lee. I think a lot of things could happen.
Changing is hilarious.
Comedy's changing. Television's changing. Movies are changing. The way movies are shot are changing. The way they come out are changing. I would order a show for 12 episodes, and if it did well, I'd put an order in for 26. Not anymore. Then they have the other deal where you shoot 10 episodes, and then you shoot 100 just to get syndication, and you put the show out there, and there's no art in that, because what you're telling me is that you're shooting 100 shows in no time to just get out there. Nobody's going to remember that show.
Anyway, you get the point. Joey Diaz and Lee Sayat didn't really watch the special. They kind of did, kind of didn't. Lee Sayat is saying that he'd never watched it at all. He hasn't watched it just yet. I think he had just afraid to say what he thinks. Joey Diaz says he laughed only twice. He had to have a perfect environment to watch it in, and then he only ended up laughing twice, but he actually did really enjoy it. He immediately read all the bad reviews around it. And just in general, I think a lot of these guys are shitty cheerleaders and shitty lapdogs for Rogan. I feel like they all kind of it's kind of like a one-way relationship in a way. They use him a lot, but then when he needs them to run cover for him and run defense for him, they all come a cropper. They don't really do it. And I feel like if I'm Rogan, I'd be a little bit pissed off about it. You give these guys everything. You give them a life. You give them a family. You legitimately take them out from the pits of poverty, and they can't even run unapologetic balls to the wall defense for you. Nah, I'm not having it. I'm not fucking having it if I was Rogan. I'm not fucking having it. But maybe honesty is a good thing. Maybe being honest, if you're these guys, is a good thing. Who blood clot knows? Moving on from who fucking knows, and something that I do know, Yuri, after multiple warnings on Kick, has been kicked off of the Kick creator program for trying to cheat the system. Now, if you're wondering, how is this guy cheating the system? Bitch, you guessed it. He's sleeping. I've tried numerous times to sit here in my humble abode and try to gather up clips from Yuri's Kick streams. I've tried to do it by myself. And I swear to God, it's so freaking hard. It's so hard to do, because most of the time he's just high, staring into his screen, watching some music video, rapping along to it very poorly because he doesn't know the words, and just bumming around. And half of the time he's on stream, he's sleeping. Now, don't get me wrong. That is a big part of Kick side of streaming. There's a version of Kick streaming that isn't IRL. You kind of do it in your bedroom, as I'm doing kind of at home, but then you do it throughout the day, but then you don't talk about anything. That's what I don't understand. That's why I think when I really get locked into Kick, I think I'm going to kill it, because I'm just going to do a daily show, a daily news show. I'm going to talk about all the stuff I talk about on Taz and Random Show, just do it daily, because at the moment I can't, because my work schedule is a bit all over the place. I can't have a set time I'm doing it, but I'm going to do a daily show on there, because most people on Kick don't even go through topics. They just sit there and ramble about their own life and just watch random YouTube videos. They don't talk anything, not current topics, nothing. They just sit there. So I think that's fine if you're going to at least engage with your audience, but Yuri is so lazy, he doesn't even engage with his audience. He spends most of the time sleeping. So obviously Kick saw that he was taking a piss, and they've now kicked him off of the Kick creator program, which is basically it's almost like their AdSense thing. Once you get a certain amount of viewership, you can kind of jump on their AdSense, which allows you to earn a certain amount per hour. I think that's how it works. But anyway, long story short, Yuri's off of it, and this is the confirmation, curse of his live stream. And Riley informs him from behind the camera because Riley is afraid of coming in front of the camera and getting fucking trolled by people and shit, blah, blah, blah. So she informs him from the behind the cameras, because I guess she's got access to the emails and stuff, and she maybe does the admin, that he's no longer on the KICIP, I think.
Oh yeah, the head of business development at Kick was on the stream, and Miranda asked him, and he pretty much said that they sent you multiple warnings and you tried to cheat the system.
You hear that? The business development guy at Kick got in touch with them directly and said that they sent them multiple warnings about taking the piss out of this KICP incentive thing they've got on Kick and sleeping, which you're not allowed to do. And now they're off of it. I love Yuri. He's such a failure. And it's so bad because he doesn't need to be a failure. He's got such an easy setup there. He's not really involved in the drama with the no jumper people for the most part. He's not involved in that FMW world or the Ace Boys world or the Back on Fig world. He kind of can do his own thing, but he always pulls himself into drama with Lush and fucking, you know, what's his name? Compa Raider. And he's now got himself in a position where the one money earner that was doing good for him, he got himself kicked off of it because he's just being lazy. Poor from him.
Oh yeah, the head of business development at Kick was on the stream, and Miranda asked him, and he pretty much said that they sent you multiple warnings and you tried to cheat the system, and they have to protect their program.
Jesus Christ.
Are you fucking with me?
I'm not.
They sent you multiple warnings.
They clipped it, but I can't click on the clip for some reason.
So Yuri is now panicking. Yuri is now very, very, very afraid, which he should be, because this is a big deal. Because I think part of the reason why he's on Kick in the first place is because, like me, he got demonetized on YouTube. But I think, unfortunately for Yuri, if I'm not mistaken, Yuri, I think, is permanently demonetized. I at least have a few months, I think, maybe, where I can maybe reapply for it. But Yuri is like completely demonetized on all these channels. And I think he got demonetized, if I'm not mistaken, because on YouTube, if you get demonetized and then you try to set up another channel and get that remonetized, you kind of break the rules a second time and they permanently take you off and there's no coming back from it. So he didn't abide by the rules, tried to skirt around the rules. Then he goes into another platform that's kind of burgeoning and doing their thing. And I think, to be fair to Kick, as much as I like the platform, I would assume, like Rumble, they probably fake the numbers a little bit. But if you're smart and you get in there early, you can probably make a little career for yourself and do well. Because they're coming up and they're trying to help creators who are maybe consistent and putting the work in and keeping viewers on the platform. They want that. But Yuri can't even do the bare minimum, which is just be on stream and talk to his audience. He spends most of the time sleeping or smoking, and Kick were like, nah. And I like that as well, by the way. The Kick staff watch the streams, like they're monitoring what's going on. So if they see people consistently sleeping who are on the KCIP, they're like, no, we've got to take you off. And the reason why I knew he was going to be in trouble when I kept watching the streams is I remember seeing this clip that features one of the people at Kick who basically was talking about how their new approach, how they kind of deal with creators and shit. Because I think what they realized is that they gave creators an inch and they ran a mile. So now they've got a different approach how they're going to deal with monetizing creators. And essentially, the new approach that they have now is like quality over quantity. So it's not just about you streaming for long and then spending 7 hours of your stream sleeping. It's about you providing actual good quality content in your stream. And he says it here. So Yuri was fucked the moment they changed their, direction, but he should have known before he did this anyway. Let's play the clip.
Reason our ability to change the rates and change the way in which the KCIP works is made to be so we reward people who do a good job, and the people who don't do a great job subsequently, get the opposite effect. So we have a lot to learn on that front too. We thought, hey, look, we'll release KCIP and everyone will do better and better and better. And we kind of had this like green sort of field sort of outlook on how it was going to look and thought it'd all be perfect. But obviously, yeah, just like anything, it comes with its ups and downs, and there's certain situations where people try to take advantage, and that's fine. We just need to adapt to it. But again, I think similar to the discussion we had about some people on contracts and stuff. If you, at the end of the day, if you're not making great content, then it's not going to be financially rewarded. It'll adjust. So if you think making people lazy, then soon enough they're not gonna. It's not gonna last for them, right? And that's how this will work. So,
whoops.
My advice to anyone who's on.
The mad thing is with Yuri, I feel like, unfortunately for Yuri, he was always lazy. I think that's a problem with Yuri. I don't think he was ever really on it. I think he saw like you could do, if whatever the bare minimum was when it came to IRL streaming, he did. He did well for himself. But I feel like, especially when it came to that whole thing he does during the day, where he does like every time you tip, it adds an hour. I feel like he ran that thing into the ground. He didn't even try to like mix up his content. Nothing. It was just the same shit. Like, and then you do a fake thing where he'd like add more time to the timer or pause it, change the rules. And over time, it gets played out. So he didn't innovate. He didn't really try new things. And if anything, he was really doing the bare minimum. So this was bound to happen sooner or later. Now, I'm hoping it does get turned around for him. But when this guy said this, and this happened a few months ago when he made this announcement, Eddie from Kick, the writing was on the wall for fucking Yuri at this time.
On KCIP, like, you know.
Yo, big up Stephen Castaneda. Now, they warned him via the live chat, Stephen Castaneda. If I'm not mistaken, when you're on Kick and you're streaming, if you're playing, I remember last time I was trying to play, I forgot what I was trying to play. Maybe something on Netflix. They'll usually warn you via the chat. So an admin will say something to you via the chat. So usually you get a warning via the chat. But I'm assuming he already got warnings from the chat. You ignored them. And then they just took him off the creator program. So now he's just streaming like regular people. But the creator program at least gives you like a set hourly wage or something that you get. And then you can obviously build up from there. But now he's getting absolutely nothing. So he's fucked.
100% effort, and it pays off way better. Like, if you grow an audience, grow a brand through high quality content, like putting in 110%.
Yeah.
Like, if you do like, you know, 3 hours of incredible streaming 4 times a week, you know, what's going to subsequently happen is your viewership's going to grow, right? If you go ahead and do 10 hours, 7 days a week of really average content, your viewership is going to drop, right? And I honestly think that those 70 hours you spend making average content will lead to you making far less off a program like KCIP, where your viewership and your statistics and the way that we reward you will drop, than if you were to put 12 hours a week into making incredible content. So, and again,
that's a good point. That's something I should probably take to heed. As much as this is directed towards Yuri, I should probably take a lot of this to heed as well with my content. If I decide to be a bit more consistent and do this over time, actually will improve over the time. Do you know what I mean? It's actually a good, this actual, you know, feedback and information he's given is probably applicable to me and way more others out there. So big up Eddie. Big up Austin Casey. Please forgive my ignorance. I sound like a boomer, but why do people say that there was a bunch of PDF files on Kick? Oh, because the biggest streamers on there, like Zerka and stuff, and another guy called Hill Mike, a lot of those IRL streamers have streams where they go to the club, they go to bars, they rent out Airbnbs, and they usually invite like hot girls on there, maybe OF girls, maybe just hot IG girls. And for some reason, well, not for some reason, I guess most young girls don't mind doing that sort of shit, so they go. And a lot of these young girls will be very upfront about their age. And usually on the streams, these guys will be like, I don't give a fuck. And they'll still like initiate, you know, some sort of thing going on there on stream. And people will call them pedos, obviously, because they're doing pedo shit. So that's usually what happens. And because Kick is a platform, when they started, like similar like Rumble, they kind of, their main goal or their main kind of like, you know, what's the thing called? Their main unique selling point was that they were going to be like the home of like, you know, there was no limits on the content. There was no counseling. There was no takedowns. You could do whatever you want within reason. And obviously these IRL streamers have really pushed the boundaries. So a lot of these guys are going on stream. They're doing live streams, sitting down like I am, with like really with very questionably young girls, and they don't seem to give a fuck about it. So everyone's calling them pedos. And some of them are also still on the platform. They don't get banned. They don't get their channels cancelled. They're not off the Kick thing. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of people think that Kick are kind of enabling pedophiles, which I don't think is true. I just think these guys are being a little bit too racy, dicey with this sort of like content they're doing.
And it's also an investment into your brand. Your brand gets tainted when you make terrible content. Your viewers leave you. Your community leaves you.
Yep.
You know, you lose the support. And once you lose that support, it's all downhill from there. And I think people will slowly learn. You know, KCIP is a completely new concept that people don't yet understand. And it's so brand new that I think a lot of these learnings will be had later down the line. And I look forward to people figuring that out, you know, because that is such an important concept to it. You know, the good work gets rewarded and the bad work doesn't. So again, I think for the time being, you know, there's kinks in the way it works and, you know, adjustments and learnings that need to be applied. But in the long run, the people putting in the in the work are going to be the ones that get rewarded, and the people who don't.
And that's it. That's where Yuri's at the moment. And Yuri at the moment now, unfortunately, as per this clip, is off the KICP. One more time, then we'll move on.
Oh yeah, the head of business development at Kick was on the stream, and Reinder asked him, and he pretty much said that they sent you multiple warnings and you try to cheat the system, and they have to protect their program.
Are you fucking with me?
I'm not. They clicked it, but I can't click on the clip for some reason.
And as this comment says on the No Jumper subreddit, that's what he gets for putting out hours of mediocre content on Kick. Even the creator of KCIP said this isn't the route to go down. Quality beats quantity. Yuri was just streaming himself sleeping, sitting, smoking dirt, flailing his arms, and abusing mentally challenged Riley, plotting on killing his other cat and Beans. This is his karma, Russian freak. So even the No Jumper subreddit guys are like, hey, you deserve this, buddy. You made your bed, now you gotta lie in it. You made your bed, now you gotta blood clot lie in it. Moving on, talking about Yuri and some of the things he said in the time. Do you remember this particular clip? Do you remember this particular clip that features Almighty Suspect responding to Yuri? This is when Yuri was making the big bucks on Kick. He was poor shaming. He was setup shaming Almighty Suspect because of his setup, because of his fucking, ability to stream, maybe the lag and shit. He was really letting these nuts hang. And look at how things have turned out. Now Almighty Suspect, even though his stream quality isn't the greatest, he gets really good numbers. And to be fair to Almighty Suspect as well, he did really well. After the whole Adam22 firing everybody, instead of Almighty Suspect turning his platform into another gossipy hip-hop platform, he just streams games. He just wants to be a game streamer. Like, I rate that completely. I rate the fact that instead of just doing the easy route of just talking about rap beef and verbally assaulting Frosty the Snowman, all these type of shit, he just sits there and plays games. It's pretty cool. But look at what happened back in the day when Yuri was on Cloud.